your first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Stephen Bowers.
All right, we've started tracking this storm system yesterday, and it's on the way for the end of the week, but there are some changes in this forecast. Now, it still looks like we're going to get something from this, even if it's not quite as much as what we were talking about last night, and there still can be some more shifting in this forecast. Now, the biggest shift we've seen is actually in the timing, but then there's a little bit of a drop to the south that may mean a little bit of a smaller impact for us here locally. We do have some high clouds around right now. These are not a big deal for us. We told you last night they were coming. This is what we have our eyes on, though, this swirl of low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska that's approaching the northern coast of British Columbia, not to mention southeastern Alaska. Now, I don't often show this on camera for you on the air, but I do want to show you this little batch of energy associated with this upper level low pressure circulation. It shows up in the red here, and then of course along the cold front itself there's a good bit of energy. Watch though as another little batch of energy kind of swings down the backside of this and then forces it to intensify and dig down to the south and kind of stretch out up and down the west coast of the United States. What ends up happening is the southern end of this kind of breaks off into an upper level low pressure circulation and then tracks from Southern California south of us over Arizona and New Mexico. So that's a little bit of a shift. Instead of being closer to on top of us, it's maybe shifting down to the south of us, and this can still change again. So we still have that shot at some rain and some snow, but even with that solution, it's a little bit of a delayed start from what we saw yesterday, but there still is some rain and mountain snow in the forecast. Here at 2 p.m. on Friday, it's after that when we see the rain picking up in the valleys. Snow really focuses on the San Juans through Friday night and most of Saturday, but you notice the central and northern mountains don't get a whole lot. But then on Sunday, that upper level low passing south of us throws some moisture up to the north, and that's when the central and northern mountains have a better shot at getting some snow. Northern mountains, it's really north of the interstate along the Continental Divide. You get west of the divide and up towards Steamboat Springs, and it doesn't look like as big a deal. But the central mountains can certainly get some healthy snow. It just doesn't look like it's going to last as long. So here in the valleys, if we get any snow, it's brief, it's slushy, and it's melting. I don't think we get any accumulation here on the valley floors. You get up in the Elk Mountains and an inch or two can fall there, which is a downward adjustment from yesterday. The Grand Mesa shows a 0. I still wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of snow up top there. But then the San Juans really take the brunt of this with 6 to 12 inches of snow kind of in widespread fashion across most of the San Juans, including around Wolf Creek where the ski resort opens this weekend. And in localized cases, perhaps up to 1.5 feet can fall. This is also a shift and a little bit of a bigger impact from about Winter Park, Georgetown, and Evergreen, right on down through Woodland Park, Monument, and Colorado Springs. Much bigger than it was yesterday, but you see you get north of the interstate, west of the divide, not really a big deal up there towards Steamboat. So we've got some time to get there. Tomorrow we enjoy some sunshine with some 30s in the morning and then some 60s in the afternoon. So it's a jackets kind of morning, not so much the afternoon. However, things are quiet at 50 degrees at the airport right now. We'll cool from those 50s right on down to the 40s here over the next couple of hours, and then our lows are going to be in the low to mid 30s with 20s in the Four Corners and in the high elevations, and then we'll warm back into the lower and middle 60s with 50s up high tomorrow afternoon. We'll call it 63 in Grand Junction with mid 60s holding on through Thursday. Then Friday turns into that unsettled little shift, transition toward a cooler weekend with highs dropping to lower 50s and morning lows dropping down to lower 30s from Sunday on. In Montrose, you're up to 62 degrees tomorrow, mid 60s hold on, and then Friday's that unsettled weather period with maybe a little bit of lingering action first thing Saturday morning, and then we cool toward 50 for highs after 60s through the rest of this week. Morning lows will drop into the upper 20s from Sunday on. And in Delta, 65 will be the high tomorrow. Upper 60s are in the forecast on Wednesday and Thursday. We drop off to the lower and middle 50s on Saturday and Sunday, with morning lows dropping from 30s to middle and upper 20s from Sunday morning on. And in Cortez, 64 is the high tomorrow that we expect. We'll be in the mid-60s again on Wednesday and Thursday, cooling to low 50s over the weekend, with morning lows dropping from upper 20s and lower 30s to middle 20s starting Sunday.